I have to send notifications to Discord so people know that I'm here. I'm like doing the bike thing. And where else? We'll send it to here. http://rbxrob.tv. No S. I know that freaks people out though. What? http://rbxrob.tv. No S. Okay, so how you doing, John? Heart rate equals CPU frequency. It kind of does. I'm going to pull up Khoros. Did I say that right? Khoros.com, which I think I'm actually logged into. And I'm going to click on the training hub, and I want you to see how to shape I am. I think there's nothing here that is secret. I think I can show you all this. Okay, so there's a lot of cool things in Khoros, and I actually got rid of my Garmin bike thing, and I'm going to show you what I did. I installed my headlamp last night. I installed the heart rate monitor, which is on the screen, so you can see that's my current heart rate. It says 80 right here. It's 80 right there. You get to see me die, and you can stress out and everything. And as I already mentioned, I do have the bike information from Real Time IRL, just like Rob CD and Mikey and the rest. I have that now on here. So as we're biking around the neighborhood today, the neighborhood should change, and you can do colon map still to go see where I'm at, but you should be able to see miles per hour and miles and all that stuff. And that's also going to be tracked by my watch. So I got rid of the Garmin Edge bike computer. It's in a Ziploc, a zip baggie right here. I'm going to actually sell it because I don't need it, because I've got a watch that does the same thing, that has my heart rate, and I have the IRL, the real-time IRL tracking me at the same time. So this is my new electronic tool for tracking my health. As you can see, I've used it before. I'm just going to go ahead and summarize, because this is something of a video blog. It's sort of a vlog for me on my journey. And I want to tell you how far I got off my fitness journey. And I'm pretty embarrassed, actually, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. So I don't think there's, I don't know. I'm going to show you my personal stats here. So give me a second. Let me make sure I'm not doxing anything. Let me just check some things. I got to check to see if I'm doxing like passwords or something. Okay, so it has my birth date. I mean, it doesn't take a lot of math to figure out I was born in 1967. I'm doxing my heart rate all the time, yeah. So I'm just going to read you from the personal information page. United States of America, RWX Rob, imperial metric units, born in 1967. That's math you could do yourself. I say I'm 55, so I'm not going to tell you the exact day I'm born. You can find that out pretty easily, but that's 5'8", and yes, I weighed myself this morning on our brand new scales that my wife bought the other day for some other reasons, because our scale was broken, and I am coming in at a very, very heaviest of my entire life, first time in my personal history, 205.7 pounds. I am over 200 pounds. I have never in my entire life weighed over 200 pounds. And the thing of it is 5'8", 205.7 pounds. For a guy my age and my height, the optimal weight is about 150. When I was doing yoga, I was running around 140, 150. I was pretty skinny. When I was doing paddleboarding and all this stuff, that picture is me. I was probably about 145, 150 in that picture. So I have 55 pounds of fat to lose, or I have some amount of fat to lose now that I think. So I actually think that the reason I topped, because I looked at my watch. I looked at my personal fitness from before. Yeah, I'm fat. I know I'm fat. And I was when the last time I measured this, and when I had to update my phone, I was at 195. 195 pounds. You guys can do the conversion. I'm not going to do it for you. So we should probably put a tool that does that, though. That would be cool, right? If there's not already one that does. So 195 pounds was where I last was. So, and it takes, you, according to the math that I read, you've got to burn 500 calories a day for a week to lose 1 pound. And safely. And I'm probably I've been losing a lot more weight than that. So this makes me wonder, because I think I was probably up around 210 before I started working out. Take off your wedding ring. I'll ban you. So a couple of things have happened. First of all, I am a lot stronger now than I was before. It's really obvious. It's really obvious to me when I'm walking upstairs, when I'm picking things up. When I've been doing yoga, I've been doing yoga and cycling for over 2 months at this point. I'm heavy, but I can tell that I have a lot more muscle tone than I had before. I have a feeling that I still have the same weight, fat, but that I've added muscle. And that's actually a really, really good thing, because I can always trim the fat down. I just got to build the muscle up. 180, you're number 220. Well, you know what? It happens. It happens, right? It happens. I'm not here to judge anybody. I'm here to go on the journey and share it, I guess. So maybe once in a while, the miles are up. Yeah. It turns out, my wife just read an article that says that people over 40, if any alcohol they drink, goes straight to fat, because the liver stops being able to metabolize the alcohol the way it used to. And so when the liver gets something like alcohol that it doesn't know what to do with, guess what it does? It makes a fat cell for it. And the reason that people completely bloat out when they get older, if they still drink, is alcohol, primarily alcohol. So it doesn't matter how much alcohol you drink. It's the alcohol that makes you fat. There's lots of things that make you fat, but the alcohol gets, your liver can't deal with it as you age. When you're young, you metabolize alcohol pretty well, pretty easily, everything really. But when you get old, it's like, I don't know what to do with this. And so you're better off actually even with sugar. I know that's not horrible to say, than alcohol, because alcohol confuses the liver as you age more than just the regular sugars and carbs and stuff like that. And so it converts it immediately to fat. So, that's why you see so many fat winos when they get older. And I would be one of them. So, we're talking about like really, really, really occasional drinking from now on. I've completely eliminated alcohol drinking. Other than the 40 I did last week, which was really, 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 really lightweight alcohol. It wasn't even really that much alcohol. It was just a lot of it. The thing that's interesting about this is that would explain why a shot of whiskey makes me fatter than a Miller Lite 40, because it has more alcohol in it. Miller Lite 40 has alcohol, but it's also got a ton of water. So the total alcohol ratio of a Miller Lite 40 is way less than a tiny little, double of whiskey. So if you want to get really fat, Last Miles is he's very active too as well. So once in a while we'll do it. Once in a while we'll share in it, and we're talking like once a week maybe, right? Not once a day. Hey Seb, so but we were talking about heart rate zones. But so before we get on the bike, I wanted to talk about the different type of zones that there are, and I did a lot of research on this a couple of years ago, and then I recently did a lot of research on this again. Let me turn the flux off. All right, so just a little while ago, my heart rate's on the screen, yeah, but we're not going to talk about heart rate right now. You'll see that heart rate jump up, and I want to show. There was some question about what a healthy heart rate for a 55-year-old, 205-pound man is when we started biking the other day, and we started talking about it. You don't drink alcohol during the week. You don't like beer and wine, but when I go out with my friends to drink whiskey with Coke, yeah. Cubatas, that's what they call. That's cool. Um, but what I wanted to discuss before we get out there and it's loud and everything is the heart rate zone that I've been using based on lactate threshold, which is a different thing. So there's three ways to measure your heart rate, and this is actually really new science compared to when I was doing triathlons in my 30s for Nike. Um, and this is what I wanted to show. Okay, so um, lactate heart rate. So my resting heart rate is actually about 55. I mean, most of the it's funny because if you've been watching me stream during the day, I've been showing my heart rate while I'm working, which is kind of fun. I mean, I can look at the screen and I can see my heart rate all during the day, and I've noticed that my heart rate's been about between 62 and 72 while I work, while I'm sitting. You know what's interesting? This is something I found super interesting. If I sit up here, my heart rate runs about 70 to 80. So if I sit here and I got my back off the chair and I'm typing and everything, my heart rate is higher. That means, and I've always thought that. I've always thought that I was doing more of a physical workout. But when I totally recline, how is it published to the screen? It's pretty damn interesting. First of all, there's a heart rate monitor on my wrist. Can you see it? Here. It's upside down, but you can see it, right? See it? See how it changes? Watch, it'll change again, see? So I have a heart rate on my wrist, right? It's as accurate as any wrist can be. This is a Coros, it's not a Garmin. And this broadcasts to my phone, and my phone, there's a thing called Pulsoid. There's an app called Pulsoid, which is an OBS overlay integration with an app. And it takes your heart rate monitor. You can actually just get a cheap ass heart rate monitor. You can even get the one that just goes around your chest or whatever. Not a full thing. And then Pulsoid sends that off to OBS, and then OBS runs it as an overlay, right? Which is pretty cool, actually. You got the H10, yeah. And if you have any ones that go, if Pulsoid's actually pretty cool. Pulsoid's got, if you pay the money, it's like $100 a year. I think it's 128 for a lifetime. You get all of these extra indicators. So like if you're raging, like if you're if you're really raging, they'll actually put like a different icon of you like raging. It actually takes your Pulsoid is for gamers mostly, so people will put their heart rate on their monitor while they're playing games, which is interesting. I average about 86 beats per minute playing Overwatch. Think about that for a second. Lying dead in your drawer. Yeah, they're pretty fun. They're pretty fun. So I mean, we've been talking heart rate a lot lately, just because it's more fun, right? And here's an interesting thing I found. So Spreezy, good old Spreezy, this is down here, this NAN, that's actually inclination, or sometimes called slope, right? So these bike stats for today, we've got the degrees outside, 37 degrees, 0.0 miles. This is total miles. We have the miles per hour, and the bad thing about video games is they're not really exercise. They just get your cortisol up because you don't really get a chance to let the cortisol out. That's what's so bad about them. They increase all of your metabolism as if you're running, because your body thinks it has to run and survive or you're going to die, but your body actually doesn't move. And so the worst part of that is that all of that cortisol and all that, sometimes adrenaline that gets in your body, doesn't ever work itself out because you're not actually working out. This is why excessive video game play is so bad on your body, especially your heart. It's horrible for your heart because your body is being tricked into thinking that it's about to get shot by a rocket. And so all of that wonderful adrenaline and everything that makes you like a video game is actually killing you, because those chemicals are going into your body because your body is supposed to run away so you don't die. And then when you don't run away, you end up dying a slower death because you have all these unused emergency chemicals that have been released in your body, cortisol being the primary one. And if you've never seen anybody who's got cortisol fat, oh my God. If you want to get really grossed out, go to the internet and search for cortisol fat compared to regular fat. Cortisol fat is this disgusting, stinking, yellow belly fat the most damaging fat you can have in your body, and it comes from stress. The other fat, like beer belly fat, is kind of white and happy and stuff like that. And but cortisol fat, the the around your heart kind of fat, the stuff that kills you, comes from stress. So whether the stress is caused by a bad divorce or a bad game of Overwatch, it doesn't matter. There's happy fat then on your body, and then there's that's the fat. The thing that sucks about cortisol fat is it's not the first fat to burn. So the other good fat is the first stuff to burn, and then so all the shitty fat is it's like having like dirt under your fenders in your car you can't get to. I hate it. So you really have to like obliterate all the fat in your body, pretty much, not all, but if you're gonna rebuild yourself. And the way to do that is cardio and increasing your muscle size. You can do both. It's not one or the other. People love to fight about that. It's not. It's kind of both. Trans fat is just like alcohol. It hits your liver. Your liver's like, what the hell is this stuff? And so it makes it into fat. You can go research this, but anything that your liver doesn't know what to do, your liver is a hoarder. Your liver is like, what is this thing? And like, God, I don't know, but it might be useful, so I better save it. And so that's why toxins and things like that make you fat too. This is why artificial sweeteners make you fat. There's science on this now, because your body doesn't know what to do with all this fake shit, and it hits your liver. Your liver's like, well, I really don't know what to do with this, so I'm going to make a nice little fat cell for it, and I'm going to store it and put it on the shelf. And then later on, I'll burn that, and your body will burn the fat for the energy later. But it's complicated. I'm oversimplifying, of course, but that's kind of what happens. So let's talk about heart rate really quick before I run out of sunlight, but I want to get out and do this. So there's 3 different ways to track zones, heart rate-ish zones, okay? And the one that I grew up on, and the one we've been talking about on the bike a lot, is max heart rate. That's the oldest of the zones that's been out there, and it's pretty old school. So and then there are 2 other types, right? There's lactate threshold, and there's intensity zones or something like that. And this lactate threshold is by far the most effective measure of what you're doing. But in order to get the lactate threshold, you have to know. So lactate threshold, you guys know what lactate is? You guys know, I'm being really boring here, but so lactate, and I'm not talking about, women with breasts. I'm talking about lactic acid. Okay. So it's a similar word, but it's not the same. So lactic acid is the waste product that builds up in your body when you are burning something besides oxidized fat. So when you run a slow marathon, your body, the engine of your body, is not overwhelmed. It doesn't freak out, and it happily. That's why low intensity zones, aerobic endurance and lower, 130, 140, like that, you're burning almost pure fat, right? Now you're not burning as much fat, right? But you're burning almost pure fat, because this is why when you go on, walkers and marathoners are so skinny, because they have a lot of fat and they're burning almost all fat. But as your intensity of your performance grows, your body switches over to using glucagon and sugar that's been stored up in your muscles. Okay. So, and the sugar that's been, a lot of you probably already know this, I'm repeating it, but the sugar that's been stored in your muscles that's also why you have to rest. That's why people say they're carb loading. It's actually a myth that you can carb load. It doesn't work that way. But the idea is that your muscles themselves, inside of the muscle cells, they all have a certain amount of emergency free energy, which is all ends up as ATP, by the way. And they can access that blood sugar or that muscle store, and there's sugar in your blood, there's sugar in your liver, there's sugar there, it's not sugar like table sugar, right? It's like it's potential energy stored up in your body, right? And you know this every time you sprint. So if you sprint, you're using nothing but this stored up sugar in those muscles. And this is why, this is why if you sprint and sprint, you don't rest, your muscles will stop working because they don't have anything to do. You're moving too much. You've burned up all of their extra energy stores, and they literally can't function. There's nothing for them to. The gas tank is literally empty. And if you've ever sprinted to the point where you can't stand up anymore, or you've ever done leg day? Anybody do leg day at the gym and not be able to walk home practically because you have burned up everything. You've deliberately exhausted those muscles because you want them to grow. But at the time they're so exhausted and they have and also you have that burning sensation. Like when that really searing burning sensation when you sprint and you just feel your legs are on fire. That's lactic acid. It's literally acid. And there's actually a really crazy drink called Cytomax. When I was a triathlete, I don't think it's even around anymore. There's a really, really, really crazy drink called Cytomax, and that I would never do it anymore. It might be chemically like dangerous, but what it does is it's a regular sugar. They've taken this sugar, right, and they adjusted the sugar slightly, the chemical composition of the sugar, so that it produces an acid, but it doesn't produce exactly lactic acid, so your legs don't burn. It's Cytomax, CYTO, I think, MAX. It is the craziest thing ever. And I used to swear by that stuff for really intense triathlons, because when you're rehydrating with Cytomax, your muscles don't burn. It's absolutely weird. It's so weird. So especially if you're a cyclist, and when you're a triathlete, those legs are on fire. When you're like going up the hill or something, you got those legs on fire. But you drink Cytomax, same exact strenuous output, no burning at all, because it's not producing lactic acid. It's producing something that's almost exactly like lactic acid, but it's got a slight difference to it. So your body doesn't pick it up as a pain thing. It's totally Frankenstein's like drink. I don't think I would recommend it to anybody in 2023, but the burning's supposed to tell you to stop, right? There's a lot of other ways to get around this too. I mean, this is why people have been taking creatine forever in the gym. Creatine also bypasses your body's normal things that tell you you're working out too hard and stuff like that. It makes it so you can work out harder. They're all chemical Frankenstein kind of ways of doing things. And I'm not into that stuff anymore, but I did think it was interesting. So that's what the lactate threshold is. So rather than saying, when are you out of breath? The lactate threshold says, at what beats per minute is my body now running purely on lactate, or a significant amount of my energy, if not all of my energy, is going to produce lactic acid. There's almost no oxidation of my fat cells and stuff like that, right? And the reason that it's bad to, this is why when you do periodization and you're doing a triathlon, when you're doing endurance training, when you have an easy day, you make sure it's an easy day. Why? Because and I do this, I haven't been doing this right, so I'm looking into all of this, okay? So if you have an easy day, make sure it's an easy day and you stay in a zone. And you're like, well, I'm just going to have this one sprint. You know what happens when you have the one sprint? You blow your lactate threshold, you screw up your body chemistry for that workout, and then everything after that hill climb that you did becomes a different. If you you can watch your heart rate, it's the same thing. You can see that your body doesn't recover fully from it. And so you are in this kind of like, no man's land between burning fat through cardio aerobic endurance and anaerobic power and stuff like that. And so you end up getting this separation, and so you're not getting an effective workout. You're overly tight. Now there's other times you go and you want to go up the hills and do nothing but hills, right? And then you're doing, threshold training, anaerobic power training. That's where you're like building muscle specifically. And this is where the CrossFit people pretty much live all day. The CrossFit people are right here. They're doing anaerobic endurance and anaerobic power pretty much all the time. That means really, really, really maximum intensity for a very short amount of time, as long as their joints don't give out. And then they drop dead and rest. And then they do it again. And it's like interval training or fartleks, if you know what there are, or sprints, things like that. Those things all build muscle. They're designed to build power. It's a different thing. But if you're going to burn, and you need muscle to burn fat. So yeah, HIT, yeah. So you definitely need the muscle to burn fat. So you don't want to. It's a different goal. Yeah, high intensity training. It's a different goal, but basically what you're doing is you're maximizing a body. It's kind of like how I used to pick sprint triathlon training over. Actually, I ended up doing. You could do sprint level triathlon training. You could do like endurance. If you ever watch, I was a big triathlete. So if you watch all the different styles of triathlon, if you look at like the Hawaiian Ironman, which they call an ultra, that the guys that do that, the people that do that, they are rails. They are like they make marathon runners look just fine. And because they're operating on a totally different goal. And then you see the Olympic sprint, you see the sprint triathletes, and they're like, they're like a track person who's going to be sprinting, right? They need a different body because they need to go really intensely for lactate. And that's because they need to increase their lactate threshold. They need to get more power. That means they need more muscles to store more stuff, and that's like that. And then you have, which is my favorite, is the Olympic distance. So the Olympic distance triathletes, I love looking at them. And basically the Olympic distance triathletes look almost exactly like every CrossFit person, HIIT you've ever seen, because they are well balanced. They have a lot of muscle. That's why I got into triathlon, by the way, because just biking, my arms were getting small, and just swimming or just running, I wanted to be balanced. And right now I'm getting balanced by doing yoga and biking, because especially Ashtanga yoga is very upper body intensive, but it's not really lower body intensive very much. It is, but not nearly as much. So the best thing is to mix your sports up, right? And then you get a full workout. That's what CrossFit's all about. It also gets you muscle confusion, which the first time I heard that was, what's his name? Tony, P90X, CrossFit guy, the guy who invented CrossFit. He didn't invent it, he gave it a name. How many did it? I did P90X 2 years in a row. You guys remember P90X? That's the first time I ever did yoga. Muscle confusion. He used to use muscle confusion all the time. I still have them. I still have the DVDs. I kind of want to go do them. Yeah, and then you would do yoga on the off days. That was the first time I officially did yoga was P90X. I can officially credit P90X for bringing me to yoga. And if you see me do Ashtanga it'll kick your ass, man. And it's actually there. And then I went to Gold's Gym. I was at Gold's Gym and I was buff, man. I was buff, but I wasn't cut. And then I was like, how am I going to cut my abs and stuff? And I discovered paddleboarding and yoga. And there's a girl at the gym who, liked me when I was all big and buff, and I got kind of skinny and really, really cut. And she was like, not as interested, but my wife was. People look at me, a 6'2" guy that does yoga. Damn. Hell yeah. Yeah, that's fantastic. Anyway, so I wanted to show that there's lactate threshold. This is different than max heart rate. And the reason this is why my watch is so weird. So people were like, well, why are you going all the way up to 140, 170 when you're not supposed to go over? And that's what that other thing was. What was that other one that we were just looking at? This right here, right? So this is the Cleveland Clinic. This is the standard target heart rate zone that they'll tell you. They've been telling us this since the 1980s. 220 minus your age, right? So this tells me that my target heart rate zone to burn fat is between 83 and 140. But I'll tell you right now, it says my max heart rate is 165. I mean, my lactate threshold is 162 probably. But this says, no, you should stay down at 140. But if you look at this, that max heart rate, see, this is interesting because this max heart rate that I have in here, this max heart rate that I have in here is based on my VO2 max setting. And I actually haven't done a VO2 max lately. Let me go back and change that. Because I haven't done a VO2 max test. You need to do them regularly before you're going to do it. And VO2 max is incredibly hard to test by yourself. It's almost impossible to test by yourself. You can do it, but it requires you to. The only way to establish your VO2 max is to literally fail, to work out so hard that your heart is about to explode and stop. It's extremely dangerous to do a VO2 max test, and I'm not in any condition to do it right now. If you have any aneurysms building or any blood clots or anything like that, and you do a VO2 max test without the tank, and you're doing it by yourself, unsupervised on the track or something, you're going to be pushing yourself to your physical boundary. As I've been pushing you to doing it. Okay, I did not. I'm gonna give you a warning. Do not do your VO2 max test unless you have been pretty regularly getting your heart rate up and strong and stuff, and make sure you go to a doctor or something. Because if you have anything, I mean, you will have a stroke. You know, if you try to do a full exact true VO2 max, which is literally pushing yourself to your maximum, if you try to do that and there's anything wrong with your body, you will know it immediately. You're going to puke no matter what, right? So the VO2 max test almost always involves puking, in my opinion, because you're pushing your body so hard that you're literally finding out what that actual max is instead of somebody's scientific estimate. And the last time I did a test, my max heart rate was 175. And if you look at the chart, you'll see that the average maximum heart rate is 175 for a 45-year-old. Now, I thought that was really interesting because, you know, people have told me that my body's younger because I was Mormon and I didn't drink beer and all that stuff for all that long time. And so that was kind of interesting because cardiovascularly, 2 years ago when I took the VO2 max test, I had the VO2 max of a 45-year-old, even though I was, you know, pushing 52. So that made me happy. But I don't want people looking at my heart rate stuff to go, you're going to have to look, if you want to be safe, do the old school method, 220 minus your age, and then stay down here, but it might not be accurate. And the reason that I finally went and did the VO2 max test was because it was telling me numbers that were like really low. And I was like, this isn't even hard. And so I took the VO2 max test and now it's there. But the difference is now I have a different problem. But now I'm getting on my bike and I'm like, oh my God, this is so hard. Right? Oh my God, this is so hard. I'm going to die. And then because I'm going by these things, and this is where perceived exertion comes in. We talked about that on the bike trip last time. I'm not going to talk about it again. So, but I actually, this is interesting because my max heart rate is probably not 175 anymore. But I think they're probably, you know what, that Wookie, if you can find someplace that you could go do a supervised VO2 test that has like a resuscitation, you know, I would pay $50 to get one. I would go get an actual officially sanctioned VO2 test, VO2 max test. Well, there are like 5 different things that I found on the internet. If I remember, it was about 5, and they all have different ways of doing it. But the way you do it, you have to be on a flat road. A stream, I could probably do it. No, I can't because I have to run at like max speed. So, yeah, and you have to. They actually have a thing on the Coros to help you get your VO2 max. It says, okay, now run regular and recover. Now run really hard. Now run regular and recover. And now run really hard. And what they do is they take the average of it, right? And then they get you. That's what I did when I did this one. I could use a treadmill, and I have a treadmill. I could totally do it. Oh my God, Bellum, you're a genius. I forgot we even had a treadmill. And if I do it and my wife's here, I'm going to do it. Oh my God, thank you for saying so. And by the way, your VO2 max, it doesn't matter what stresses you out, whether it's a bike or you're running. It doesn't matter. It's just because you're just measuring your cardio health. So you can, you know, whatever causes you to, if you don't want to run. I'm going to do that. I'm going to definitely do that. So anyway, so my heart rate zones are 130 to 147, which I thought was interesting because I've been living in the blue zone for the most part. That's you found the Cleveland Clinic one? Yeah, this is the one that I read before. Yeah, to have a heart surgeon or on retainer for it. VO2 max, how to measure it. Oh, he's doing the cycling test. Look at him. He's doing cycling instead of I have a cycling thing. I would rather do that than the run. Yeah. $130? Damn. VO2 exercise level referred but during exercise the blood pushes in millimeters of oxygen. There's one golden number for each person. Or isn't. Professional athletes tend to have a max higher. You can find your number by performing a cardiopulmonary exercises test at your doctor's office or exercise medicine lab. You wear a mask and your face record the oxygen consumption. So and when you do it on the road, it's not a real test. It's not actually measuring how much O2 you're taking in. It's a different thing. What's a good VO2 max? Sedentary. Yeah, I kind of want to get it. How to improve your VO2 max. You can handle by swim, blah, blah, blah. For athletic ability, here we go. Before you do, isn't there a way, isn't where you want to be? You can improve by doing this. High intensity training, CrossFit. Low intensity training like running, biking, hiking. You want to aim to decrease body fat. Derp. This doesn't tell you how to do it, though. It doesn't tell you how to do it. Where's the one that tells you how to do it? There's like one that has 2 different ways to do the test. This is not going to do it. This is not going to be, I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. This is going to be one of those average things. Resting heart rate, 55. I mean, let's say it's 60. How about that? Let's say it's 60. I think it's actually 62 right now. Check out what it's not even telling me. It's not telling me anything. Send this result. Check out anaerobic threshold. Yes. Anaerobic threshold 55. Haskell and Fox formula. Which is the one that has you do the run? Anaerobic threshold is 140 beats per minute. That's crazy. No, it's not. This is ridiculous. Minimum anaerobic heart rate. This is ridiculous. I've already blown the shit out of this. Maximal anaerobic heart rate. That's crazy. That is nowhere near accurate. I'm just going to tell you right now. No. This is why you have to go check it out, right? This is closer to the truth right here. For me, anyway. I was saying that the other day. They're like, right around 150 is where I need to be. That's where, Oh, you found a place that'll do the testing? How much is it? I kind of want to go get it on a bike. It's done on a bike. A combination of this RMR and VO2 max test is ideal for those looking to change their body composition. $615. No. No. Oh, never mind. I got this wrong. 100% zone. Heart rate zones. What is heart is? I think I got this wrong. HRMX equals 192. What is this nonlinear formula? This is a totally different one. I've never seen this. Everybody's got their own thing now. Age, 55. 170. There. I think I'm just going to go with the last test that I did because this says max heart rate 175. I know it's less than that. but that's what I tested as. But I'm a different person now, so I don't know. I don't know. What is this one? Wait, this one says 55. This one says if you're 55, it's 165. See, I think it's bullshit. I think that's bullshit. This is way too low. For me. So I don't know. I kind of like that other measurement. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? This one? This one? This one? Nope. This one? Where'd it go? It's from belt. From the wrist is wrong data usually. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I know. The belt is way more accurate. Yeah. I agree. I agree 100%. I've watched my wrist and I've seen it be completely inaccurate. I know that it's inaccurate. I absolutely know it. I mean, I've been doing triathlons since I was 22. I know when my thing is wrong, you know. And I mean, it's a pretty good, you know, I think you just have to take that into consideration. You just have to know that it's not going to be accurate. It's going to be, you know, if you want to get a truly accurate heart rate monitor, you need to put the strap on. The straps are annoying as hell. I was talking about perceived exertion earlier, and I think perceived exertion is where it's at personally, and I'm going to stick with that. But the heart rate monitor, as I said before on the stream, the heart rate monitor helps you get to perceived exertion so that you can start to make those kind of assessments. Aerobic endurance, aerobic power, pace zone threshold, etc., etc. All right, I think that's it. That's all I wanted to just talk about. Let's go actually ride a little bit. Actually, got a site physiology department. Yeah, go have them test you. A 6-pack, buy him some beer. That's a great idea. Yeah, that's a great idea. All right, so we're actually going to bike in neighborhood towns today, and we're just going to go out to Bailey's Road, and we're just going to go out to the peninsula. Where's the lake? Right here. I just want to tell everybody where we're going to go, and I'm going to put my clothes on really quick, and we'll get on with it. I actually don't mind if it's dark today because I want to try my new light. I got my new Night Rider, and so the Peninsula Club down here at Jeton Park. I don't want to go all the way down there. We're going to stay up here. Actually, this one. Yeah, Lake Norman Tavern. Yeah. So this is the one we're going to take. Okay. If we have a beer, maybe it'll be. We could even go down past Trump National Golf Course. What do you say? It's not a C. This is Lake Norman. This is in North Carolina. I'll actually go ahead and put my thing on pretty soon. You can see where I am at and stuff. And you can actually follow along with me if you want. That freaks some people out, but I'm fine. One of the goals I have is I actually want to go to the end of this and turn around and come back. This is the biggest. It's called the Peninsula. This is the biggest peninsula in our area, and this has got bike lane on it pretty much the whole way. And here's Lowe's and everything. So we're right up here somewhere, and no, we're right here, and we're gonna go down here, across to here, down here, all the way down here, as far as we can. And I'm only gonna do 20 miles today, so I don't know how far we can go. I think if I were to go to all the way to the end and turn around, it would be probably 20, 30 miles. So we're going to go ahead and take that. We may actually take a detour into some of these neighborhoods, because I do like to bike in the neighborhoods. I think it's fun for people to see. In fact, let's plan on doing that. So you guys that have been following me, here's the path, right? So we come down here. This is Dooley. We come down Dooley. And then we turn on the Blair Witch lane, private lane. We come back in here, and then we come all the way up here, and we cut over. And we're going to go down here. There's where the butcher shop is and stuff like that. And we're going to there's a school. There's actually a school there. we're going to take a right on the first right, and we're gonna completely saturate this neighborhood. Um, and I think the way to do that, because there it looks like there's a loop. So if we take a right here, let's zoom in and do this. Okay, so we're going to take a right on Oak Tree Road, and we're going to go all the way down here, right? And we might go out down here, I don't know, but we need to turn left on Castles Gate. We'll go all the way around Castles Gate. Does this go through? Please let that go through. Please let it go through. Please let it go through. No, stupid roads. There's a big old fence there. It does go through. It does, look. Does that go through? That looks like it goes through to me. He might not want it to go through. That definitely goes through. All right. It does. It's yeah. So this is caucus. We have to remember that if that goes through, we're so golden, because then we can just go there and then go there, right? Otherwise, we have to go here and turn around, come back here, and go down here, and then we'll go to Oak Tree Road, down Oak Tree Road, and then we're gonna go down here, and then we'll see all this. Well, by the time we're here, it should be sunset, so we should start seeing some really, really pretty sky. And this is very upper class. Yeah, this is gonna be all ritzy houses. Yeah, the ones up here are not as ritzy as the ones down here by Trump Golf Course, but they're pretty damn ritzy. And this is my only goal for today. So we're gonna go down here. We're gonna go Oak Tree Road, and we'll come back up. And I mean that's a nice little loop there. We can do that. Oak Tree Road. We'll do, what is it, Martin Drive. We can go around in there. Those are tiny little houses there. Those are probably affordable. Those houses in there, because they're not on a lake. And then we go back to Oak Tree, and we'll be able. That's a dead end. Looks like a bunch of apartments kind of things there. That looks like a deck end. Does this go through? Does that go through? Don't you love it? Don't you love it when they put like an actual fence when there's no need? Look at that. Oh, it's gated. Wait. Does that look like it opens? It does, right? That looks like it opens. We'll find out. Okay, so that would be perfect, because then we could do. Wait, what? Oh, right. So it recentered me. Okay, there we go. That was supposed to freaking me out. So we're gonna go do this one, and then we're gonna go. What is this neighborhood? Oak Tree. Anytime Fitness. Okay, so when we see the Anytime Fitness place, we're gonna take a left. Or right, I mean, and then how's the loop? Loop. This loop is a different one. This is a weird loop right here. We'll do that next time. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know why I would want to go there, because it's going to get us on the road faster. So, I could just go down. Yeah, I mean, we'll just stay over here. We'll just stay on Oak Village Parkway until we get back to Oak Tree, and then we'll go back home. All right, so that's what we're going to do. Let's do it. I'll put a little bit of music on for you while I'm getting ready. Alright, I have shoes, everything. Oh, I need my helmet, of course, and a hat. Where's my... do. I'll just wear this one for now. I can turn the music off on the road. Is that low? Damn. That's the one advantage of the South, I guess. I mean, it's cold, but it's not like freezing, you know? So here's my new toy. You want to see? Want to see my new toy? Look at that. It's so freaking strong. It's like you can see all the dirt on my floor. I cannot wait. I'm fat. I don't care. I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna fix the fat. Permanent. I'm gonna fix it good. Sorry. I got my Herbie the Love Bug hat on. Yeah. I think that's tilted. Herbie the Love Bug. Nobody knows what that is. I think my helmet's messed up. Give me a sec. Nope. Okay, good. Should I take 2 water bottles or just one? I should probably take 2. Who are we kidding? Unless we're going to stop and get a drink. I can't stop and not buy a beer every time I go out on a bike ride. It's not a good idea. I want to.